Thank you, President. So, can I have an indication from the back if we're going to try a vote or if I go for my report?
Korea just got it.
Okay, so we have Korea that just has arrived. That means we will have one additional vote. So I think if my counting is as good as it used to be, it should be 82. Now, do we have an indication if voting could be tested or we do it after the coffee break? Okay, so we will do it after the coffee break, and I will go with my report. Dear President, dear Congress delegates, I will give an update since my written report was sent in July, and I will discuss the following topics. I will talk about IT, events, IOC in Paralympic family relations, World Games, international license, the World Academy of Sport, which is a new thing. I will also discuss good, or should I call improved governance, because good, is it really what we should be talking about? We should be doing good governance, but how can we improve it? Sponsoring, use of data, update on Agenda 2020, WADA compliance, strategy, communication, Olympic and Paralympic qualification systems, and about the finances. In terms of IT, information technology, our President already mentioned in his report the website. However, I think it's important that we have to realize a website is a constant evolving matter. For instance, the website is now used much more on portable phones and tablets than on a regular PC. And this will continue to evolve. So we need your input to make sure it becomes better. And please take the occasion of the communication workshop in the next 2 days to inform our communication manager or other members of staff of what you think needs to be improved. We also have continues to develop applications. We have World Archery Live, which has gone through a complete revamp a few weeks ago, and which you can upload the new version on iOS and Android on your mobile phones or tablets. We have the head-to-head application, which is a tool can be used for people to simulate matches, no matter where they are in the world. You can have someone in Bhutan shooting against someone in El Salvador, and they can do matches against each other. Or you can even shoot against all our database information. If you want to shoot against Oginiek or whoever, Brady Ellison, Katuna Lorik at Olympic Games, you will be able to do that through the head-to-head application. The scoring app, which has gone through many changes, but will be used, of course, here at the World Championships. And we discussed with the IT manager that this will be available to anyone who wants to use it. And we have several of your member associations already using the scoring app at national tournaments. And we encourage everyone who wishes to contact our IT department to enable them to use the scoring app also at national events. The Gate Security app is an app which you used this morning when your badge was checked to get into the room. This is something we introduced this year and has helped us a lot to keep the field clean during events. Not everyone likes it because only people that should have access to the field have access to the field. The voting app, which we hopefully have working in a few minutes, And we're also developing a judge management application that will allow our judges, and maybe also at national level, to better manage their work during events. The next point I wanted to mention is events. I think that we have to be clear of where we want to go with our events. And I think that we have to have a real study of how do we finance events. Because our old model based on entry fees and income from hotel rooms is very much under challenge. And the balance between the entry fees and the costs combined with what you can have as agreement with the hotel chain is very much under challenge. 20 years ago, there was no e-booking, TripAdvisor, and all those applications which have completely changed the economic model of hotel rooms. However, our financial model for events is still based on it. So we've been discussing with some other federations and as well internally on how to change the model. Now, I can't give you the answer today, but I think it's important that during some of the workshops, you discuss with some of your colleagues on what you feel should be the model for the future. We think that one of the options could be that the entry fee will actually cover the costs of the athlete and the coaches during the event. But that will mean that the entry fee will no longer be $150 or $200, but probably will be $500 or even a little bit more. This is already in effect in some of the other tournaments organized by national organizers. We would then allow everyone to book his own hotel accommodation. So if you do your job in advance, you will probably get a better rate than we could ever find for you, or our organizers could find for you. Like I'm saying, I'm not saying today that we're going in that direction, but it's an option. The other thing that is very much a request more and more is a completely à la carte model, meaning people might want to book their own accommodation, might want to book their own lunch, might want to book their own transport. Now, with our accreditation system, we would be able to foresee this and allow a system to control it for organizers. So it's another thing we are reflecting on, and we will see where we go. But there could be other very good ideas, and like I said, discuss it with your colleagues during the workshops and give us feedback on it so we know where to go. We then go, now we will show you, because you have to listen to me a lot of times, we're going to show you a video of our events so you know what we're talking about. So can we have the video of the events? What's next? Well, we will see this week here in Mexico, the World Championships, which, of course, as everyone knows, was a challenge to get organized with what happened here in Mexico some weeks back. But I'm pretty sure we will see some great images at our next Congress of what is happening next week here. And it takes me now the occasion to thank the entire event team. Most of them are here for their fantastic work that they are doing during all the events. Okay, IOC, Olympic and Paralympic family. We had the IOC session in Lima a few weeks back, as also mentioned by our president. And of course, we can congratulate both our member associations of France and United States of America as the two next hosts of the Olympic Games. It also gives them great responsibility because it's a unique chance for both federations to make a difference. 7 years for one, 11 years for the second one. It's a lot of time, but it's tomorrow. And we hope that they will take the best of that time to make sure they will make a difference in 24 and 28. We had an update on Agenda 2020, already mentioned by our president. We had the IPC General Assembly in Abu Dhabi, and a new IPC president was elected, Andrew Parsons, as well as a new association was created called the Association of Paralympic Sport Organizations, of which I've been elected vice president, and the Equestrian Secretary General is the president. This organization will help us to improve our cooperation with IPC, which has been going under some tension last year in Rio. But we are sure that together with the new IPC president and with this new organization, we will do fantastic things in the Paralympic Games in Tokyo. We then come to the World Games, which were held in Wrocław, Poland this summer, which were also a great success for our sport. We had a new format for field archery, and I must say, I've never been to an event where I had no idea if it would work or not. But from the start, everyone was super excited about it, and the conclusion was clear. It was a huge success. Everyone liked it, no matter if you won gold or you were last. Everyone had a chance to get a match shot in the field archery competition, and of course, the gold medalist was a little bit happier than the one that was 12th. But it was a success for the athletes, for the media, and especially also on social media. So the field committee has now the very difficult task to adapt it to our World Championships. And there, I think we will ask for your flexibility that we can implement already in Cortina a new system that will resemble what we've done in Wrocław. The compound event was on the highest level, and it was a great promotion for compound archery. Now, next time in Birmingham, Alabama, in the United States, it will be their chance to show what compound archery is about. One of the items we will have a discussion on later on today is the international license. It's a motion for our Congress. It has been discussed quite sometimes in our executive board, and it is really there for two purposes. The main purpose is to make sure that we don't have any unexpected surprises when one of our athletes or coaches gets ill during a tournament and there is high medical costs. We've had this experience, unfortunately, over several events, and it's a big burden for the organizing committee and the member association concerned. So we want to resolve this by having a worldwide insurance in place. We also need to know, for things like IOC studies, how many top-level athletes there are around the world. Now, the motion we will discuss this afternoon is a step. It is not written in stone how it will look like, because we first need to know if we go in that direction before we can approach the insurance companies. We have already made some initial inquiries. We know other federations what they are doing, but we first have to have an approval in principle before we can go ahead. So what we will decide on this afternoon is an approval in principle, and by 2019, by the next Congress, we will be able to go forward as such. So it is a project, It will be modified for sure on the road, and it's a principle that we will decide on this afternoon. Then another important thing is education, development, and see how we can progress with our sport worldwide. We are at a transition phase, I would say, in that point. We have the World Archery Excellence Center, which was established last year, and we also have some changes in staff already done or coming in the next Olympiad. Therefore, we need to see how we're going to how to make a strategy for the education. We want to empower people, people like you, people like your coaches, people like your judges, people like your athletes. We want empowered member federations. And the Academy will be an umbrella for all training and education. The World Archery Excellence Center will provide a research service in people and federations leading to a service-based leadership, as also clearly mentioned by our president in his report. We are very much at the start of this project with the World Academy of Sport. The World Academy of Sport works with organizations like the IOC, IPC, World Badminton, and several other international federations. So we're developing together with them the strategy on how to make this academy work. And of course, it will be fully in line with our priorities, our own strategy for the 17 to 20 period, 5 Ps as we call them: priorities, products, promotion, partnerships, and processes. This academy will be a central hub, and it will coordinate as much as possible with all of your own educational programs. In terms of good governance, we had ASOIF, the Association of Summer Olympic International Federations, conduct a study on the governance of all 28 members of ASOIF. And we're doing quite well. We're not perfect. We have place and space to improve, but we're doing quite okay. There are certain points we have to work on. For instance, independence of our ethics and audit committee. And okay, the typical question, what is independence? Well, independence is a person that is independent if they are free from any close connection to the organization, and if from this perspective of an objective outsider, they would be viewed as independent. A person may still be deemed to be independent even if they are a member of the organization and or play the sport. So this is not meaning that it has to be people outside of archery. Examples of close connection include, well, if you have been within the last 4 years actively involved in the organization affairs. For instance, if you have been on our board. If you have been an employee of World Archery in the last 4 years. Or if you have close family ties with any of the organization directors or senior employees. So we will work on this matter for the 2019 Congress, and we will come with proposals. We would have loved to do it for this Congress, but good governance is also respecting your constitution. And our constitution said there is certain deadlines, and this research came out after the deadline. The other matter we need to do is put in place a system so we can check the eligibility of the people that are candidates, checking if what they are putting on their forms is actually true. Now, this would not be good if it's me or someone in the office doing it, so we will need to see how we will put that in place. Many of the things we need to do, we already do, but they're not written down in procedures and on paper. So this is something we will work on by the 29th Congress. And then the last one is term limitation. It's one of those things you can't win. Do you really want to get rid of good people? But people that are not so good, maybe there should be a way to have them out sooner. But in the end, it is you, the delegates of Congress, that should make the decision of who is elected or not. However, it is clear from what is happening in the world of sport in general that we will have to end up with some kind of term limitation. We are conducting a full analysis of what that could be and how it will be implemented, and we will come with proposal to our next Congress. When we talk about governance, it is very important that we look at the whole picture. And we can put in place the best governance at World Archery level if we have in our member associations no good governance. We will all fail. So it is essential for having a credible sport organization that all of you have good governance. And like I said, nearly all of you have it, but there is small things you can improve. And as they say, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. We did a questionnaire with our Good Governance Committee, and we will hear in a few seconds from Sirit Luik, and I want to thank her already for the fantastic job she's done in this project, because some of you are not very quick in replying to questionnaires. Sorry. I know it's no fun. There's more interesting to do in life, but it's a necessary thing for us to know what is happening in your country. And we're very pleased that we are reaching nearly 100%. The number I have here, and it's already out of date, but Sirit will give the final numbers. We had 124 member associations that have completed completely the results, and which we can say fully achieve the minimum activity standard foreseen in our rules. 24 have some issues that need resolution, and we will come to that in a moment. And 14 have not yet replied. We made it clear that it is mandatory to do it, so we will give a warning to the countries concerned. We will get a full presentation in a few moments. Then, the next point. A point on governance as well. We need to remain a clean sport. We have a very good image. That means we have to fight against anti-doping rule violations. Corruption and match fixing has no place in our sport, and luckily, so far, we have not been touched by it. But if we are not careful, it might happen before we know it. Unfortunately, one of the things that we start seeing is some matters of sexual misconduct or harassment, discrimination, or any other behavior that brings our sport in disrepute. In 2017, I'm afraid that we had 4 breaches of ethical codes on sexual misconduct. 2 coaches are suspended, and 2 cases are under police investigation. We are in full coordination with the IOC Ethical Commission and the Medical Commission of the IOC on this matter, and we will inform you on how you can prevent these things in the future. The IOC Ethics Commission was also at a request of one of you asked to give advice if age can be considered as a discrimination factor as such, and it is. You cannot ban someone because of age to be on the national team. Next point, the World Anti-Doping Agency. Sponsoring update. We want to thank FILA that will, at the end of this year, stop providing the uniforms to us and who was a valuable partner for us. And we welcome Area, who will take over for the next 3 years. We are convinced that Area is a very good partner for us, and some of you already work with them on your own team uniforms. We have signed a contract for 3 years, but it's absolutely our intention that this will be a very long-term commitment. And probably at some of the indoor World Cups, like Nîmes, Vegas, and probably Yankton, the people from Area will be there to talk with you, the National Federation representatives, to see what could be done with them in the future. Because, of course, we want to see as many of you have teams wearing Area, because that will help our relations with them. Use of data. in the world of sponsoring, it is critical, and the area example has shown this, that you have to provide valuable data to a possible partner. We actually had a choice in terms of who choosing as our clothing partner. Why did we have a choice? Because we had enough data to show to potential partners. And we have Uli Lacher, and Uli, if you can stand so people know who you are. Uli Lacher is a specialist in data collection and analysis, and he will give a workshop to all of you over the next 2 days. And he will explain what you can use and how to use the data. Because unfortunately the time of sponsors just because you are a nice federation is over. Agenda 2020. Youth Olympic Games the IOC has decided to change the date of the Youth Olympic Games. However, there is some discussion on it if they will go back to the original date. So, what I ask you as Congress is to give us some flexibility, because it could be that the next Youth Olympic Games are in 2023 or in 2022. And probably we will only know in February next year. So if you allow us, together with the CNR committee, we would like to change our rule book that it will state that the Youth World Championships take place the year before and after the Youth Olympic Games. In that way, we will not be stuck and need to call for an extraordinary session of Congress to change the date of our Youth World Championships. I think this would be an absolute overkill and a very high cost for something that I think all of you in principle will agree. So I ask you if you can give us that flexibility to make that amendment, and of course we will then find the organizer for the 2022 Youth World Championship or 2021 Youth World Championships. And of course we need to coordinate this with our continental associations that also have Youth World Championships. We had a very good cooperation with the IOC Youth Olympic Games Department in Rosario, where half of the athletes went to visit the IOC education booth and got some valuable information for the rest of their career. Governance, we already mentioned, and we have more IF involvement in the Olympic Games. This gives us more responsibility and more work, but we also have the possibility to help the organizing committee to reduce costs. And of course, gender equity is a very important part of Agenda 2020, and we continue to work in that area. And I remind everyone that tomorrow night there will be a gender equity cocktail with some information by our Gender Equity Committee. Now I come to WADA, and we are still waiting for the WADA compliance report as such. We were the first federation and among the first anti-doping organizations to submit a report, but unfortunately we're not considered high priority. So we have to wait for the report to come, and they had promised it this week, but I haven't checked my email this morning, but I haven't seen it yet. Now, it is clear that there will be certain things coming from the report that we will have to adapt. I don't expect anything major because I would have already been informed, but there will be things we will need to adapt. Talking about WADA, we had the news, which was not a surprise, last week, that there is a new list for 2018 and that alcohol has been removed. Now, it's an interesting discussion and decision by WADA, because I don't think they really think it doesn't fulfill the criteria to be a banned substance, but it is a substance that annoys them. It's not fitting the general anti-doping substances, because you can test it on site and have immediate results. It doesn't have to go to a lab. And one of the things that could have been an issue is that many of the national anti-doping organizations were not doing the testing for alcohol, because why do it for only 4 sports? It's an investment in alcometers, and only for 4 sports that are not even high risk for anti-doping anyway. However, World Archery and the World Archery Executive Board clearly took a decision yesterday that alcohol remains prohibited in competition of course only. And you will get the rules published before the 1st of January, because the list will change on the 1st of January, that alcohol remains prohibited at all World Archery registered competitions. We also ask our member associations that for non-World Archery registered competitions, they take care of the same matter. Strategy. We have Lars, me, and our president, since many congresses, boring you like hell about strategy. So, why is strategy so important that we are talking about it to you every Congress? Well, basically, research is showing that if you have a good strategy, the chances that you have better results are real. And Alan Brams from Canada, who many of you might know, has started a research project. And first of all, this slide, and okay, I don't expect you to read because it's too small, shows clearly one of the messages that we are trying to pass to you since several years. Tokyo is too late. If you're thinking about having results in Tokyo today, finding a coach, the magical coach that will resolve all your problems with your national team, it's too late. If you want to have success, plan for 24, and even 28. And this research done by Alan will clearly show that as such. Now, Alan has started working with some of your member associations, and this graphic, and on purpose we didn't put any names, shows on the bottom side is what you do in terms of your results, your, I would say, high technical, high performance department, and on the other side is the strategy. And there is really a linear scale, a linear balance between the strategy and the results of performance. And surprise, surprise, in other sports and in archery, the ones that have a better strategy will have better results. So that's why we're bothering you all the time about strategy, is to make sure you all have better results. Communication. We published with my report a social media ranking. Now, Chris Wells, in his workshop, will talk to you, oops, quick. Sorry. We'll talk in his workshop about communication in general, and especially also on how, oops, not going that far back. Okay, we'll get there. Okay, so social media ranking. We'll have a workshop on to see how you can improve your communication. Again, there, it's not the first time we talk about this, but also now you have a way to compare with your colleagues from other countries. And World Archery is doing a good job in social media, but we can only do it on our international level. If we want to improve, we need to have you more activity on national level. And also, you have to improve your relations with your athletes doing the same on social media. And this ranking clearly shows that some of the athletes in certain countries are doing much better on their social media pages than the federation concerned. And that's something you probably need to learn from and see how you can cooperate with them to get better. We were planning to produce another social media ranking in 2019, and we hope that, first of all the numbers will be higher, and that it start a competition between you to see who is in the top 3 next time. And we will give some awards for sure to the top 3 next time, or the ones that improve the most. We fully understand that size of the country will have an impact, but if you look at the ranking, there's a very small federation, Peru, who made it very high up. Well, maybe we need to learn from them. Okay, next point. Olympic Games qualification system. I'm not going to go into detail, but yesterday the executive board approved the principles. And of course, there are 64 men and 64 women. 12 team men, 12 team women. And there will be 16 mixed teams. But the mixed teams will be formed in Tokyo. It will be based on the ranking round in Tokyo. The host nation, Japan, is guaranteed places, but what is new, they have to try to qualify as well. If they don't qualify, which we don't think will happen, they get automatic places. But they will be part of the qualification system, so they get ready for the games. At World Championships, there will be 8 teams, but Japan could be one of it. So there will be no secondary tournament for teams in the Netherlands in 19. A new thing as well is that the continental games, where archery is on the program, will have places for the mixed team and for the 3 major continental games, also for the top individual. We'll also have the continental qualifiers, invitation places, and the final qualifying tournament. I can't give you more information because the system is not approved yet. We will send our final version to the IOC next month, and then it will go through the process of approval of the IOC Executive Board in February next year. For what concerns the Paralympic Games, and Carol, don't shoot me, but I put the numbers I had. So there is still discussion on the numbers, but we know from IPC that we have 80 men places and 60 women places. We wanted to have gender equity, and we had asked for more women places. But IPC said you have to do with what you have from Rio. The numbers for the different categories might change. Like I said, we have still some discussion with the para committee, but these are the numbers that I put in as reference for you. The system will be similar than to Rio, but we definitely also want to simplify here and have as little as possible secondary tournaments. Okay. Last point, finances. Well, you have all the financial statements as such. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. But on the income side, it's clear that we're very much dependent on the Olympic revenues. And the revenues of Rio were quite good. We expect them for Tokyo to be even better. Our commercial revenues increase, but not in the same speed. So this is something we have to work on so that the balance of dependability on the Olympic Games becomes lower. In terms of the expense side, we have been quite stable as such as well, especially in terms of the administration expenses. We have had very few changes in the administration expenses, and there were changes between the previous Olympiad to this Olympiad, mainly because of additional staff, but in general we can say that they are very, very well controlled. And I thank the Finance and Audit Board for helping us to achieve that. In the operational expenses, it's very much linked to our activities. We're doing more tournaments, we're doing more events, we're doing more development. And for instance, we have a World Archery Excellence Center. Well, that has to run as well, and World Archery has to contribute to it. So last year we spent a lot of money on the World Archery Excellence Center, and this year as well, we will contribute $500,000 on the operational costs of the World Archery Excellence Center. But this is necessary because it's a critical part of our development strategy. Later on, when we present the accounts, you can ask questions if you have on finances. But with this, I will finish my report, and I will then ask Sirit Rubik to join me on the stage to give a presentation on the good governance. And I thank again all my staff and also the executive board and all of you member associations for all the support you give to me and my team to achieve this work for you. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm honored and very excited to be here and tell you about the results of World Archery Governance Survey. I will give you an introduction of the results here now, but I hope to see most of you in a workshop where I will have more time to give you more details. But first, you might be asking, who am I? My name is Siret Luik. I come from Estonia, and some of you might have seen me on competition field as an archer. With a lot of you, I have been in contact over past 4 months about this questionnaire. For me, archery was love at first sight, or should I say, love at first arrow. Today, I have been in archery for 17 years in different roles. Last winter, I spent in Korea. I studied sports management, and currently, I'm working on the governance survey. I'm member of Good Governance Committee, and together with Tom and Pascal, we have been doing the survey. We put together the questionnaire mainly about the governance questions, but there were some topics which are not so strongly linked to avoid sending out multiple questionnaires. This questionnaire was available in 5 languages, sent out to 162 member federations in May, including those who were not in good standing at that moment. The deadline was in June, but it's not a secret that we accepted the results after that deadline, and we are still expecting some results. As of today, 134 full answers. There are 28 federations who Tom is keeping contact with, who are still underway or haven't started yet, but 134. This is 83%. 83% out of 162 federations. All I have to say, well done. And I think all of you who have filled it in and sitting here today, you deserve a big round of applause. Now, let me tell you why we did this. The answer is simple: need for information. The competition is getting tougher, not only between athletes, but also between sports organizations. As the president and Tom already said, the chain is as strong as its weakest link. World Archery is as strong as its members. So it's in all of our best interest if the members are strong. There is a saying, it doesn't matter how fast you run, if the direction is wrong, you will never get there. We are pretty clear where we want to get to, what is our destination. And it's an ongoing process. Some of you here have been already on the way for decades. Some are still in early stages. But where are we exactly? Where are we today? To know the direction, we need to know specifically where are we today. And that is the reason why we needed this questionnaire. Let me explain the process, how it was done. Data was collected. There were 55 questions officially in the questionnaire, but they included many more questions. So total, there were more than 250 questions asked. That's a lot of data. We collected it and summarized it. So we brought out some trends, how things are generally done in member associations. So, some of the results were good, some not so good. A lot of them show room for improvement, but this is what we wanted to know. Where is this room for improvement? I put together 5 points for good side and 5 points for not so good side to show you. So basically I have good news and not so good news. So which ones you want to hear first? Okay, let's get over with the not so good ones. I will start with the areas where we have we are clear that we have room for improvement. Number 5, there are still federations with no constitution. This number is small. It's only 6% of those who answered. But I think this point doesn't need a long explanation. An organization without constitution, this is serious. Number 4, there are federations who do not have anti-doping rules. If you are paying attention to our President's and Secretary General presentations, this is very up-to-date topic. You need to have those rules implied, and today we also need to change them to follow the lead of World Archery. This is also a small number, 5% of federations, but this is something we have to improve. Number 3, national championships. They are generally well done, well organized regularly, but there are some who do not hold national championships in any format. This is also 6%, so not so many, but still there are some. For your information, for example, 92% are holding target archery outdoor championships every year, and 69% are holding indoor championships every year. Coming back to the areas where we need to improve, point number 2 is, unfortunately, there are still too many federations who do not have a web page or a social media account in any way, form. We want to be moving towards transparency. We want to have more members, and we want to have our own members to be happy, to have enough information. Web page or social media are perfect tools for this, and very often you can have them for free. So this is something can be easily fixed and needs attention. And then this is something was quite a challenge with this project, contacting the federations. I took the World Archery official contact list that's published on the website as well. This is the information you have provided for World Archery. And please, those federations who filled in the questionnaire already on the first day or on the first week, this is not about you. But those who filled it in July or August or in September, that means it was really difficult to get to you. I suggest you to, on the next coffee break, to take a person from some other federation and make a deal that both of you, when you go home, you check from World Archery website the other federations' contacts and try to contact. Is it working? Because the phone numbers, they didn't answer very often. It was very difficult to reach you. So it's easy to fix. Please work on it. But this is 5 points, 5 areas where we need to improve. Let's go more on the positive side. So 5 positive trends. General assemblies. They are generally very well made. 76% of the federations have it every year. More than 30% of those have it more than once a year. These are usually smaller federations. But the bigger ones, these tend to have general assemblies once in every 2 years or once in every 4 years. But they are held regularly, and that's good. Number 4, progress and development. We ask you to mark how do you evaluate your progress. And more than 80% told they have had progress in the last 4 years. More than 40% said it has been significant progress in the last 4 years. This is good news. Number 3, finances and audits. Money and finances is something that can cause trouble easily, misunderstandings and a lot of problems. But we have more than 80% of the federations who do have audits regularly. 70% have internal audit and 64% have external audit, and a lot of federations have both, which is really good. Half of the federations publish their full report to their members, so everybody will have full access to all the reports. Number 2, national Olympic committees. There is 95% of the federations who are members in their national Olympic committees. Furthermore, 36% have a member in the board, which is a very good figure, which shows proof of influence in national level. And last but not least, we go to the numbers of athletes, and we have 30% of federations who have more than 1,000 athletes. And among these 30%, there are many who have more than 10,000 members, and also those who have more than 50,000 archers in their federation. And these numbers are looking good. So, to sum it up, I suggest you all to take a look at these results and analyze. Look what others are doing, what are the general trends, and what your federation is doing. Where is the difference? Is the difference justified? Is it working for you or against you? Is there a reason for this difference? I think if you find where is this room for improvement for your own federation, this questionnaire can really benefit you. As I said, more than 250 questions, more than 130 federations have already answered. That's a lot of data. I couldn't have done it alone. So I would like to thank those who helped me, of course, Tom and Pascal, those who helped me to translate the questionnaire, fellow committee members, and also, of course, all of you who filled it in and also gave me feedback on the questionnaire. Thank you very much, and I really hope to see continuous growth of archery development worldwide, and hope you will benefit from the results of this survey. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sirit, again for all the hard work, and also all the other people that helped on it, like she said, translations, and follow-up by some of the Secretary Generals of the Continental Association, so thank you very much on that. Some things you might have questions. Sirit will conduct a workshop together with Lars on this, and we'll go into much more detail in some of the results. We would have hoped if there was 48 hours a day and maybe 500 days in a year to give you already an individual feedback, but it is something that is planned. So the idea is that you will get each individual of federation a page or several pages where it's written what you're doing well, because you should be congratulated for what you're doing well, and the areas for improvement. And I think they will be quite obvious for you, but we will help you and assist you wherever we can to make sure that, as we said, we have a strong chain and no weak links. Before I give the word to the President, we ask you to leave all the tablets on the table because we're going to do a full reboot of all the system, all the tablets. It seems to be that we're close to the resolution of the issue and that we can do a test vote as soon as we come back from the coffee break. But now I give the floor to the President.
Thank you. My friends, I would like to thank Tom and Thread for their really excellent, useful presentation. Now, coffee break for 15 minutes. Please return your seats in 15 minutes. Thank you very much.